A train wreck to spin fire. The NFT analyzer, diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From mint coins to tokens, he's got all the intel. Web3 is a tree to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures flow. Web3 wonders, chain reactors on the scene. NFT insights and crypto dreams.
Well, good morning, boys. Mega GMs. Welcome to the Swarm Report. It is Monday, October 13th. We need a name for this past Friday, whatever that was. Whatever it was history. It's a pretty good jam. It's a pretty damn good jam. Yeah, it is. It grew on me. Wasn't a big fan at first. It's grown on me, man. Yeah, we're gonna have a name for Friday, I think. It was a historic day in crypto. It was the biggest liquidation event we've ever seen. Trying to explain it to people too, what it meant, how big it was, right? Some context. It's hard to give context to something like that. But also to try to explain it to people when you go look at crypto prices, and all in all wasn't terrible, right? The biggest liquidation event in crypto history, and Bitcoin's at, well, not even right now, but last week 110K. ETH at what, 38? It wasn't crazy, so it was a harder thing to maybe understand why it mattered so much. Today we'll talk about a bit of why it mattered and who it matters for, and how something this significant can impact this space. And there will be an impact. I hope a good impact. I hope it's reset things and recalibrated us. But make no mistake, a lot of people wiped out from that big old liquidation here. Wild stuff. Got a lot to talk about. The market, the biggest thing for sure, but NFT's still looking fantastic, guys. I think they're looking great. Kind of everywhere I look. Let's say outside of Pudgy Penguins, which will be just fine. But strategy tokens look very, very interesting still. Virtuals may have a big week ahead of them or us right here. Some interesting projects launching as soon as tomorrow, and we're assuming some probably bigger projects launching here in the next, let's say 7 days. Probably some surprises coming up this week, so looking forward to that. But yeah, plenty to get to. Guys, we're live right now on Abstract. We're live on X. We're live on Pump Fun even today. Sometimes we experiment. We do the daily show over on Pump Fun. So we're live over there too. But most importantly right now, we're live over on YouTube. So hit the like where you're watching, but definitely come over to this side. Come over to YouTube, subscribe over here. I mentioned last week changes are coming this week, and they are. A little rebranding. I believe this show will still be named the Swarm Report. Probably going to change up the thumbnail. You might have noticed today's thumbnail is a little different. We're going to mix up the thumbnail. But the Swarm Report show might not actually broadcast on the Swarm X account. It might actually go live on the SlamAI account. It might go live back on the CryptoSlam account. So I'll keep you posted on that. Those changes probably come in as soon as maybe tomorrow. So subscribe here. It'll always be on the CryptoSlam YouTube. Follow me just so I can keep you updated on this stuff as well at Hudah_idiot. But SlamAI is going to be, I think, the most important account to be following here. Announcements coming very likely this week. Some pretty awesome updates coming in, and I could just say the first of many here. So we got some spicy update, some really, I think, needle-moving updates. Just the start of the rollout and the ramp up to the SlamAI platform launch and the Slam token launch. Yeah, there is a token coming, and it will matter a lot. I'm going to tell you why it matters when we get a little more towards the end and we start talking prediction markets. You may have heard me starting to talk about what I think are some of the best plays out there, and it's not what you're thinking of. It's not the prediction market platform tokens, although those are still spicy, but something maybe a layer deeper here. And then finally, follow the swarm_AI. I need to peek if he's starting to do his thing. Okay. Well, I'll even spoil it for you guys here, just because it's our close fam watching. But you'll see the Swarm account starting to tweet on its own here coming up, and that might be today. But look forward to that very, very soon. Let me hit some quick GMs here because I know the boys are here. Dad, great to see you, man. Good morning. China. Yeah, it's gonna be a good week. I can feel it. I think we got I think we got a maybe a special week ahead. Although, man, the biggest thing we're watching for right now, it's some news, some kind of something that gives us a little some direction, right? We're all waiting to hear something or see something that tells us, okay, we're not ready to run yet, or game on. That's what we're waiting for. We'll see. Cats, good morning, man. Love your new little video clip this morning. Love that one. DK, good morning. I think news show, not here, but news show elsewhere probably starts this week. I'm referring to it as 1010. Oh, dude, I didn't even realize it was 1010. Also, did you guys realize? We'll look at it on the next screen. You guys remember the 4chan post that was going around that was calling the top for Bitcoin this cycle? Do you guys remember that post? Because as of now, I believe that post is correct. I think it's correct, even though that post came, I think, years ago. Pretty wild. Although it's calling the top, and I still don't believe we're anywhere near the top here. So, we'll see here. Hoods, good morning, man. Cosmos, dude, a rare Cosmos sighting. I love it, dude. Sora's pretty good. I don't love Sora, but it's pretty good. Atlas, good morning, man. Joined the stream, didn't hear the first part. Any updates on the Swarm token? How will Slam affect Swarm? More info on that, Atlas, really soon. Just trust me with that's being planned out, right? There will be a utility for Swarm. We care about the community. So I can tell you that what I've heard is Swarm holders very much in mind for what's coming next. Just know that like we're a team of, we're crypto guys. We like understand what the space likes and expects and all that. Yeah. Stay tuned for details about that. I don't have details for you, but I just know in those conversations I'm in, there's definitely talk about the Swarm holders and Swarm's utility going forward, and it will have utility going forward. But also, again, Swarm holders matter. So we'll just say that. That's cool. Yeah, dude, awesome. China, the all-time high date on that prediction was 10.6. And I'll tell you this, let's look at prices. Again, not bad. They're like really not bad. Markets bounce back after, and we'll show you why, but markets bounce back a little. 114K. Actually, hang on, guys. Let me drop a link to the show. Let me drop it in the chat. I need to retweet it too. I need a co-pilot, man. I do. I need a producer or something. Let me drop it here. Throw a like on it. It over on the X side really, really does help. There we go. Boom. All right, we're good. 114. Markets bounce back for a reason. ETH back over 4K. Love to see that. 4,100. BNB, guys, what a wild thing. Almost back to all-time high. Almost back to 1,300. All-time high, I think, was 1,311. It's almost right there. Ripple 257, Solana 193. Just a nice recovery here, at least in the past 24 hours. You can see that over here. Say roughly 5% across the board here. Pretty darn good. Let me peek real quick at Bitcoin too, just because we're talking that prediction. That all-time high. Hang on. We didn't get that right. Hang on. That all-time high is pretty interesting though. So 10.6 was the prediction. And let's go here. And what do you know? I don't think this was the real. I think we actually topped out higher if I go price-wise. But I mean, my guys, it was on 10.6. It was on 10.6. We touched 126K. We touched 126K on 10.6. That was the prediction years back when we'd see the next all-time high. Look, it's just coincidence. The prediction was, well, we were this many days between all-time highs, so we'll be, this many days out is October 6th. Well, they nailed it, which is kind of crazy. Looking at ETFs, I'm really curious about Friday. Such a bad day. I mean, look, we were seeing hundreds of millions, if not a bill plus in inflows Friday. First day of outflows in 2 weeks there. 4.5 million outflows on Friday. Not crazy. But also we got that news. It really was later, a little later in the day that we really got that bad news. The bad news, of course, tariffs. Tariffs, 100% tariffs on China. I thought it was raised to like 130%. But on the east side, way worse. 174 million outflows there. On Solana, let's see. And there are some other ETFs we should be tracking, and there's so many coming here when the government reopens. Solana, 5.6 million inflows. Hey, pretty good. Pretty good for Solana. I can't see chat on Pump Fund, by the way. I wish I could. Yeah, I don't know why I can't actually, but I can't. But there we are, guys. Friday, the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. 1.6 million traders were liquidated, and they're estimating $20 billion worth. $20 billion wiped out. And the thought is it's actually significantly higher. Now, it's kind of, I mean, if you think about it, it's unrealized, right? Actual money that was wiped out, investments wiped out, might have been closer to the, couple of billion, maybe a few billion. But as far as, balance showing in your wallet, unrealized profits, 19 billion wiped out. And the thought is it's actually way, way higher, maybe something like 30 billion, maybe like 40 billion. But the number of people that were wiped out is what's so wild, happening at a time when these perp dexes were starting to really ramp up, right? Hyperliquid really changed the game. And then you have farming on lighter. We had a nice demo of that this weekend here too. But leverage trading perps, it suddenly became like the platform you need to be trading on. And so I know a lot of people, I think a lot of you guys here, and I'm going to include myself, started trading on leverage for the first time ever. Maybe I did it, years back, and I did it once and lost thousands on one trade. And then I realized that's not for me. But the money that's being thrown around here and seeing some of the wins, knowing the risk, I think everybody started getting their feet in and feeling it out and trying to learn it because you understood this is where the space is heading, at least for now. My big fear was exactly this, guys. My big fear is that so much of this is manipulated. The fear was that we're all going to get in, we're all going to start leverage trading, and then something would happen that would wipe out all of us. And it happened. It happened way earlier than I thought, but it happened. Yeah, more people pointing out again that figure is probably not that 19 bill we're talking about. 7 bill alone on Hyperliquid. A lot of the money that was wiped out is not on chain. Yeah, and that's such an interesting point, China. I don't think we've seen the full fallout for this yet. But yes, again, 30 to 40 billion is probably closer to what was actually liquidated on Friday. It's a massive number. Looking at Hyperliquid, the number of users with open positions dropped from 50,000 down to 20,000. That's how many people were wiped out. I was wiped out. I only had like a $50 position. I just wanted to try. I was testing. And my liquidation price was so low, I thought we'd never hit it. We hit it. Liquidated. I know multiple people. I know a bunch of people who got liquidated. It's crazy. I didn't. This would not have happened last cycle for sure. Nobody was doing it. Like a very small group of people were doing it. It was a different kind of trader was doing it. Now everybody was starting to. I know some people that lost a lot of money. Wild. And then of course after that, everyone's spooked, right? We got the threat of tariffs. Nobody knows how the market's going to open. By the way, I said last week that the market's closed Monday. We have a holiday here. It's Columbus Day. Market's not closed. Market's opening. Market is open? No, opens in 13 minutes. So the market will be open today. We're all waiting and watching. We'll see it live here today. How does the market react to all the developments over the weekend here? But this was such a big deal. Like Kook puts it perfectly here. It's the max pain of all max pains. He's saying he's never seen something like this. So many people impacted. So many people reset to zero. People that have been working and showing up and grinding and trading their way for years. And a lot of these guys making life-changing money. And those people being reset to zero. Years of work flushed down the toilet because of what? Maybe crime. Maybe crime. We're gonna find out more about this as the days go on, but we already have some ideas out there. They took out everybody, almost everybody who is leverage trading, guys. Almost everybody. It's like I'm telling you, we're closer to 100% than we are like 25% of leverage traders. It took out almost everybody who is leverage trading, which is a wild thing to think of. And like he's saying, the past few months, it was all perp dexes. Get on perp dexes, start farming for points, start learning how to trade, learn the platforms, use them. Everybody was getting in. I'll say it again. My big fear was that was going to be used as a way to, I don't know, a black swan event is something like what happened. I was expecting exactly that, and I was expecting it to decimate the space, and it happened. But look, man, I'd rather it happens now before we get to what I still think is the best part of the run, the, resuming banana zone, the euphoric part of the cycle. If it happened then, I think it would be game over. It happening now so early, and yes, we're later in the cycle. Yeah. But it happening now as opposed to in a couple months when, in theory, we've all made hopefully a lot of money. Imagine if it happened then. You put in the work and you built up your bag too. You built up your portfolio and you're like, I did it. I fucking finally did it. I made it. And then wiped out. That's what would have happened if it didn't happen now. I believe that. How many do they wipe out? 75% of participants? It's probably there. It probably is. It's unbelievable the amount of people who are affected by this. I don't think people were expecting it. Wild stuff. Now, the platforms were broken too, right? People had stop losses that weren't triggered. There were people who were smart and were trying to buy during the crash, couldn't buy. Platforms were broken. Binance is offering some refunds to certain traders. Almost $300 million is going back as, refunds, reimbursements, compensation. Yeah. Backpack is a little similar situation too. There's a little different. There's some drama around Backpack. We don't have to get into it because it wasn't crazy. But BNB hitting another all-time high is exactly. And this is where we start thinking, crime somewhere? I don't know. There is crime in places. I'm sure of it. We saw that short that was open last week. There's something to that. We'll put that on the screen here too. But ETH back over 4,100. It was a big flushing out, and it feels calculated. It does. And there were some developments on that front. It does feel very calculated. So there's the one story of an insider who's close to the Trump administration, who knew something was coming, opened up a short. This really happened, by the way. Not that this is a Trump insider, but somebody opened a short and made $200 million on the market crashing. Somebody seemed to have known. And it might have been this guy right here. I don't remember if they put his name here. Somebody had put his name elsewhere. Like, his name is out there. But this is the guy who potentially, we think it's him, made $200 million opening that short. Couple short positions. I can't tell with AI anymore, Choina. It's either a shitty picture or it's AI. I can't tell. Someone else opened up a short on WLFI right before it nuked as well, just a couple hours before, right before Trump's press conference or his announcement that, 100% tariffs on China. Like, there's definitely, man, there's some shady stuff going on. No doubt about it. But then it came out this weekend. This is, the story gets crazier. Comes out this weekend that it might have all been a misunderstanding, right? Because CJ rightfully pointed out this weekend, he's like, this news, about China and these controls on these rare earth metals. Well, that news came out like Tuesday, Wednesday. And it wasn't till Friday that Trump announced the 100% tariff, and he had that super aggressive Truth Social post, and that's what nuked the market. But really, the news happened days before. So this guy who put a short on the market might have just been, man, really, really smart. Saw the news out of China, said there's going to be a reaction to this. I'm shorting this market. It could have just been that. It could have been that simple, and it's not insider trading. Could have been that. Yeah, but it came out from China that the controls, it's not an export ban, and that countries are going to apply to, meet certain regulations and maybe pay less of a fee or tariff or whatever it is, right? We don't know yet, but the narrative all of a sudden yesterday was like, guys, everything's okay. This was kind of a misunderstanding, and also we're going to work out a deal. So that's why the markets have bounced back, although you just, nobody's confident right now at all. But it does get deeper, guys. It really does. So YQ had put out a post here and is saying what happened here was way more than the tariff thing. In fact, that was just like the smallest little factor here. The real factor is something going on Binance itself, and it was 3 coins in particular. This is a little wordy, and I don't think we're going to really break it down here, but essentially it was 3 coins that people who understood how the platform works and how their oracles work, how the pricing oracles work, manipulated the market, right? Knowing how they work, they knew what they could do to basically crash these coins, maybe take the rest of the market with it. Maybe it's just a side effect, but this might not be what we thought it was. This might be somebody gaming an exchange. And we've seen that before, man. We've seen CZ attack Hyperliquid, right? We've seen it happen before. And so this post breaks down in a really interesting way what happened here with these 3 tokens, USDE, wrapped Binance ETH, and wrapped, I don't know what NSOL is, but let's just say SOL on Binance. And it was these 3 tokens that got decimated. And then it caused this cascading effect. It might not have been insider tradings, and it wasn't just purely people dumping because they were spooked. It was an attack on possibly the Binance platform or an attack on market makers. It's much, and I'm going to drop this in the chat for people if you want to read up on it. It looks like it was something much more. Now, he's got like 2 or 3 gigantic posts about this, and this just came out, was it yesterday? Awful IGM, man. Yeah, I wouldn't assume this was just, a market reaction. I don't think it's just that. I think it looks like it's much more, and it was a calculated attack of some sort. Get used to that happening, by the way. Like that becoming more normal, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. We say code is law, and if people figure out how these platforms work, people are going to always find a way to game the platform. And it seems like, guys, that's maybe what happened. October 6th, Binance announced updates to its pricing mechanisms for those 3 specific coins. And it was somebody getting that insight in how it works to attack the platform. It's crazy. But yeah, to Choina's point, I don't think we have the full impact. I don't think we know yet. I think we're going to find out that more is happening, more people wrecked, maybe more platforms wrecked. Rumor, but I would expect this. Rumor mill saying 2 large trading firms were liquidated to 0. Won't be surprised, guys. I mean, this is closer to like a black swan event than not, right? If we see some major platforms go under because they were also wiped out, because we saw traders wiped out, man. Probably some platforms also taken out too. Crazy thing. Again, a lot of a lot of people, and I'm telling you, people we know that probably haven't said anything publicly wiped out for sure. I know some people that were doing very well in this space who no longer are, literally starting over from 0. And I don't understand why somebody's in this kind of market all in leverage trading. I don't understand, but that's how it goes. Min Dynasty saying, talked to 4 people. Between those 4, lost probably $50 million in total. Common story right now. Super unfortunate, but common story. Luna, good morning. Bonk Guy, similar story. He lost $30 million. $30 million. Now, these guys, a lot of them have a lot more than that. This guy, maybe a billionaire, maybe. If not that, whatever. But $30 million this man lost. A lot of people lost a lot of money. It's kind of sad. It's really sad. And then and we talked about this over the weekend too, but people lost everything. And when that happens and you have no hope, and maybe in this case, when you lose other people's money too, it gets worse. China, I'm hearing rumors the losses are much, much more than would have been reported. It might be more than even the 30-40 bill estimate, right? And then individuals and like we were just saying, platforms. This guy, what is it? Konstantin Galish, took his own life. This is a truce. This is a real story. Right. This guy was managing what I think $65 million worth of other people's funds, probably lost it all. I'm just assuming probably lost it all. And then, guys, one that kind of hits a little closer to home if you're here in the NFT space. This is really sad news. This comes reported yesterday, and we don't know if it's related to this, but the timing, the timing maybe lets us speculate that it is related to this. But the co-founder of Artifact passed away. This is just yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. Reported yesterday, though. So, right, it gets closer to home. And I would expect there's more of these stories that we haven't heard yet. That's crazy. And you can, it's hard to understand, and then you can understand it when you think of the work it takes to get these, to build these platforms these guys have built. Some of these guys, it's been their last, 5 years. They're all in, they're all day, every day, and it's the blood, sweat, tears. It's their everything. And maybe they've changed their life and they're finally in a good place and they, are doing something meaningful, and then it's gone in an instant. And then in your head, it's, if starting from zero means in a much harder market to make it in, starting from zero, thinking you've got to go start from zero, build from scratch, grind your way from zero back to, your millions. And some people feeling like they can't do it. Maybe the past few years weren't great to them, but they still had what they did last cycle and don't see that they can ever do it again. And some of these people, I think losing everything meant their life has changed. They can't afford they can't even pay their rent or their mortgage coming up in a couple of weeks, right? It's real stuff. And this is people not maybe, trading smartly, but that's the reality. And I would bet that more people than not actually are not smart traders and probably are all in on very risky stuff. And even if you play it as low risk as you think is even possible, trading 2x leverage, they got wiped out. Even that got wiped out. So this one, I don't know. This one's really sad. And I don't think it's going to be the last of these kind of stories, right? I'd mentioned there's other tweets out there, similar stuff. Here's one from a few days back as well. And there's a lot of tweets out there like this. Yeah, it's right, Drop King. I was 3x leverage and I was wiped out at a level that I didn't think would be even possible to hit. I even pictured, okay, if we have something horrible that decimates the space, I'm like, I still don't think we hit this level. We hit it. Just barely, but we hit it. Luna's talking because of an airdrop that's coming on this platform. So even if you lost, you're going to, depends on what you lose, but maybe break even, maybe still be up massively because of the points and, for the airdrop that's coming. But yeah, it's one thing to lose all your wealth, another thing to lose all of someone else. Exactly, Choina. That's, so like this is random as hell to bring it here, but like G Funk with Pixel Vault, he's nothing to do with this story, by the way, but just like I think of somebody who is losing money and who I assume was losing other people's money, it's somebody like him, and that's just so common in this space, right? You get your loans. Liquidations are max point. Okay, so if you were liquidated, you're getting piles of points. Okay, I just know guys here are not great with money and either over leveraged, all in on leverage, or using other people's money, stuff that you're assuming you're going to pay back. And we're seeing this on NFTs, by the way. People taking loans out against their NFTs, leverage trading it. Now they're wiped out. They're not paying back their loans. This is going to have a ripple effect in the NFT market too. But yeah, this stuff's really sad. And I don't know if this guy's tweeted since. Yeah, he has not. This guy's not tweeted since. So I don't know if anybody knows, how this guy's doing, but there's a lot of these tweets out there. And I think, the examples we had pulled up, these two, I don't think it's just them. And this one may not be related. It might not be. It's just the timing. So it's not good. And we still don't know exactly the cause. Although I think, what was it? YC? Is that his name? YQ? Is it YQ, I think? YQ. He might be the closest to the real story. So pretty crazy. Okay, now kind of turning the corner here. You're nuts, Luna. I get it. But, yeah, Trump coming out yesterday saying it's fine, guys. Like it's all good. It's part of this, I think, is on purpose. We're hearing from the Trump family Q4 is going to be massive for crypto. I think it will be. I buy it. I think a lot of this is manipulation. Trump says these things. He announces these tariffs. I think without the intention to implement them, hoping it's just a negotiating tactic. But he's saying, "Don't worry, like we're going to be fine. We're going to make a deal." These two are still meeting in Korea, and I think that's coming up actually soon. So hopefully we get some progress there. Can't wait to see what. But the flip side is China's saying we're not afraid of a trade war. So nobody knows what to make of it. We do know that Trump's saying those tariffs are still coming, and they're coming in 17 days, 18 days. Tariffs still on 100%. And I need to double check. I still think it might have been bumped up to 130. Maybe I misread that, but let's just say 100% tariffs. That's still the plan. Now, does that change? Don't know. But part of this even starts today. U.S. and China will start tomorrow. U.S. and China will start the trade war tomorrow with new port fees. China says the fees are a legitimate countermeasure before U.S.'s new 100% tariffs. So here we go. Nobody knows what to think, and nobody knows how to play the market because you don't want to get in now if we are going to get wrecked again, unless that was just a whole other thing that caused it. But no, I don't know if anybody feels confident enough that this is the bottom and that it's time to play. I don't know. So I think everybody, in a big way, is just sitting on their hands for now. I think there's opportunities out there still. I see them in a couple places. Also, the same whale, same dude who shorted before. So I think that guy from the beginning of our stream opened another short. This was yesterday. Open another short. $161 million short. Price, dude, nuts. Dude, Polymarket's so fun. There's an interesting bet up there. I'll show that, I think, at the end here. We'll wrap up today talking prediction markets a little bit. That said, I'm still glad this kind of thing happened early in people's leverage trading careers, rather now than in 2 months, right? Rather now than in 2 months. But I do think people are going to be back to leverage trading. The lesson should have been stay away, I think. For me, it's probably stay away. But yeah, no, I think I love this. This is such a great tweet. I think this is exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be like, all right, just time to start over. Let's just adjust. We'll just adjust the plan. We'll play a little safer, but back in. Why not? When on these perps platforms, you can turn $100 into thousands. You can turn $10 into a couple hundred, right? It's like it's pretty extreme. As quick as you can lose it, you can make it. I don't know if this space is going to learn their lesson. In fact, I bet on greed. It's why I have these ridiculous ordinals predictions still. It's why I still think Murad is correct with his meme coin thesis. Actually, I want to peek at meme coins real quick, but why I think he's correct that we're going to see multiple $10 billion coins in the next 5 years. This is still a 5-year thing, but in the next 5 years, multiple meme coins that are 10 bill and above. At least one that's 100 bill or more, but like that we are nowhere near the top for what we're going to see in the meme coin ecosystem. It's not going to happen now. No way. But I don't think people are going to learn their lesson. In fact, I think people are going to, well, look, the whole economy is going to change. And I actually have a little story about that too. I just keep seeing more and more that gives me more and more conviction that it's going to get crazy. The 5-year thesis. Raoul Pal says 5 years to unfuck your future. And I just say it's going to get, the whole world's going to look very different in 5 years. That's all I can say. On the meme coins, real quick, Cerebro crime, we're not going to cover now, but Cerebro, something weird's going on over there. Useless up in the past week. It's a great meme. Nobody up in the past week. Great. Who are our biggest losers, though? Let me see if we got any that we know of. Mog got wrecked. Past week down 38%. Notcoin 40%. The pump token down almost 40% too. Confusion at a really good point, by the way. This weekend, we were talking Fartcoin. That's the leading indicator, right? For people's risk tolerance, whatever. It's just a leading indicator for if people are feeling, feeling like gambling, right? Risk on. I don't think it's Fartcoin anymore. And Confusion said it in a way that I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I don't think it's fart coin anymore. I just think it's the pump coin. So I think it's looking at the pump coin, and when that's up, it's go time, and when it's not, well, then it's not. But I think fart coin is maybe kind of over, guys. I think fart coin might not get back to a bill. I'm not firm on that. I'd say 50-50. I think maybe 60% chance it's back to a bill. But I think the era of fart coin might be over. We'll see. Just a hunch, though. Just a hunch. But man, Bitcoin hit all-time high and market always goes down. Yeah. Yeah, Moonship, yeah. I don't think this is as bad as it feels and looked, because I do think this was more manipulation than it was a reaction. And it was both. Make no mistake, it was both. Insider trading, a reaction to that tweet. But more than that, it was a platform being manipulated in those 3 coins on Binance. But Raoul Powell is saying again, where we're heading and that this cycle, and he's got a great breakdown about the cycle still. He's got another tweet out here, but he's saying be smart, take your profits, but this cycle's probably elongated. And great stuff is still ahead of us. Now, I see this next thing I show you, I think is so wild. Because I just look for things that I'm looking for confirmation bias, to be honest. I don't think we're close to the end. I think we're months off. And whenever the end comes, I don't think it lasts long. I'm talking about my 5-year thesis and others' 5-year thesis that the world's going to change and AI is going to change and all right. It's going to change. Also, knowing that, how the Trump administration has talked about our debt. We're so in debt here. How many, what is it? 40 trillion? I don't even know the number anymore. 40 trillion. It's a ridiculous number that we can't pay it back. The only thing we can do is outgrow it. I think that's pretty universally agreed on. All we can do is outgrow it. I have trouble seeing anything other than this market just continuing to go up and up and up via crime, via new ways that this market even functions. Otherwise, we're toast. But check this out. I mean, it's an article on Telegraph, right? The Telegraph. Whatever. I don't know if that's a source that should matter, but I'm saying I'm looking for confirmation bias, and I see this, and I'm like, pretty interesting. They're trying to compare it to what, like the 1929 crash, which was where? Hang on. Here's the 1929 crash, and then the red line is where we're at. If you just look at that, guys, does that not match up a little more with how you feel about this market? Because I'll tell you, for me, it does. This looks like how I feel, that we will get little, well, not even little, we'll get big pullbacks. We will get crashes. But I mean, if it plays out like this, here's a crash in 1926. And I think it maybe matches up with this. This is what I feel like will happen next year. We get a pretty decent pullback, a pretty decent crash, and people are going to say it's over. This is it. Now we got a few years of a bear market. I don't see it. I see that happening, and within months, back up into the right and maybe significantly, and then a pullback and a more gradual climb up. But this is what I see and I feel. And then by 2030, I feel like we're about to head into an era like this. People predicting Bitcoin's going to 1 million. It's going to look something like this, something that grows over years. It's not going to be all of a sudden we go from 120K Bitcoin up to 1 million all in a week or a month. It's not going to look like that. It's going to look like something we've never seen before, I don't believe, other than it looks like we saw this in the 1900s. The stock market in the 1900s did very much that. And at some point that does come to an end because everything, we maybe fix the debt problem by outgrowing it and refinance. I don't know, right? I don't know this stuff. But I know that this looks like what I've been feeling and what I try to explain. And I've tried to say how I feel this is going to go for years at this point. But when I see that, I'm like, that's how I feel like it's going to go. I just know the debt's unsustainable. I know the technology and the change that's happening here. And this, just this flippening of US dollars of money to crypto, to me, that chart matches my feels. Doesn't mean anything, but to me it does. And all I can do is play my gut and my feelings. And I don't think we have a big old crash. And in whatever crash we have, and let's just say this is the crash, doesn't last long. I think this is what we have to look forward to. I do. I think it's not technical enough. Nobody should listen to what I'm saying, but I have a feeling I have a feeling a lot of you guys might feel very similar. Marty, is this like a 7-minute video of him just talking about why it's all worthless and all altcoins are meme coins? Is that the video? If it's that one, I watched it and it's excellent. And he's right that all this stuff is silly and all the like most of these altcoins are not going to see an all-time high. If that's the one, then I've seen it and it's great. He was really shitting on AVAX, right? I think that was the one. I hope it was. I want everything to go back to bear. We might get back there. Well, I mean, bear market levels. I mean, Bitcoin will maybe get to 80 or so, or it's so hard to say. But we're not previous low 20K Bitcoin. I don't think we ever see again, other than criming it down for some minutes. There's a few, but if we go under 101 for 2 weeks, then it's over. If not, then ETH to 5K. I like it. Marty, am I thinking of the right guy though? Is that the guy at least you're talking about? But anyway, this is what I think is going to happen. This is how I think it's going to play out. Is exactly like that. And I'm playing my strategy is around something like this. And if I got to pick the expert, to be following and betting on, it's not me, right? I'm a feel gut thing. Yes, okay, Marty, then that's him. I'm listening to Raoul Pal, who I think has got a really interesting take on the market. And I think this is closer to what he sees. So anyway, I thought that was a cool article, and I buy it. I saw okay, so it is his video. I see people just watch it on 4x speed or something like that. Also AI, guys, it's why we focus on AI, and we're about to get into the AI stuff right now. But AI, dude, AI adoption is absolutely insane. And I know there's a lot of, I don't want to call it FUD. Well, you could say FUD around AI, not the tokens, but the technology now. And reports coming out saying, look, it's not having any impact. It's not having impact. We're not seeing really job losses. We're not seeing so much more productivity because of AI. The whole thing that AI was supposed to do, we're not seeing it yet. We're a few years in from when ChatGPT was kind of becoming mainstream. And I still could see that 5-year thing's a little elongated too. But you can't argue with how many people are now using it. The adoption rate of AI is, I mean, it's so much faster than the internet was adopted. It's because it's easier to use this stuff too. You should expect everything to be faster from here on forward. Information flows faster. Everything is faster. So if we compare it to something in the past, almost like when I watch some videos about movies and the movie industry and money, and how they adjust box office numbers with inflation. You have to adjust now too. The internet grew at that pace because there was no internet before. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to grow something back then. Now everything is almost instant. So anyway, the way AI is growing is so much faster. Maybe it takes longer for it to be good enough to replace jobs. Maybe it takes longer for that. It might. I also think that maybe it doesn't. But the big conversation is, does it replace jobs? And now I lean more towards no. It automates the jobs that can be scripted away. I like that take. But I think it makes our lives easier, makes us more productive, leads to more money. I still bet on that. And that previous chart we were looking at is a big part of that. Biggest risk right now, it's legislation. And I'm not going to spend long on this because we talk about it enough, but the market structure bill's in trouble a bit. The Democrats are putting up a fight. And we talked about it last week. I'm not going into it now, but they are putting up a fight. Reasonable stuff, but I don't trust any of them regulating it. I want less regulations. Even if it opens the door for more crime, I still think all of us have a much better shot than anywhere else. There's a middle ground here somewhere, but that middle ground needs to look less. Their fingers need to be in it less, right? But there is a lot of talk about this, and the good guys are putting up a fight, and I'm glad to see that. All right, over to AI. Let's get to virtuals. Gold was the play, yeah. AI market cap actually up in the past 24 hours. Again, the whole market's up, but 15.74 bill. That's still counting Tether. I still don't know why this is here. I still don't get it. We're well under a 10 bill market cap though. There's USDT on Arbitrum, 7.3 bill. So we're really like at a 9 bill market cap or 8. I think 9. Yeah, something like a 9 bill market cap for these AI coins. USDT, I got to skip that. AIC is your top. Wow. AIC is your top token by market cap now. Only because Fartcoin fell so much. Fartcoin down 35% in the past 3 days. Fartcoin might be over, guys. It might be. Fartcoin at number 2, followed by IRC, Toshi, and then Rect on infrastructure. Hang on. FET's on top, DCAI, virtual down to 500 mil. Open, and then IOTX. And then in DeFi, it's Venice, AI Tech, Banker, CX, and OLAS. And then very curious about Mindshare. I think it's the ones with the, Cato campaigns right now. But Fartcoin's on top. Interesting. Okay, Fartcoin on top. Banker, CXT, Elsa, still no TGE, and then Cookie. So there we are. We've had a couple good virtuals launches, guys. We have. So, hey, nice to see Daredevil up. Hang on, what's our market cap here? Not crazy, but let's look at the newest launches over here. I need to check Whale Intel and how it's measuring this stuff now, right? No points, so it's different. But most recent launches here on the new Unicorn Launchpad, Unicorn Meme, 173 FDV, Orion, 35K, Krelon, 50K, AIX Bet launched on Friday, I believe, 3.86 mil. That was a really interesting one to watch and see where people were buying, where the team, because those taxes go to the token, go to buying back the token. This one looked interesting. I'm going to pull that chart up in a minute. But High Fury, oh wow, down to 600K. This one looked really good for a minute. They did cross 2 mil. They unlocked their first batch of funding, which is cool. But let's look at AIX Bet real quick. And then we'll talk about the one big launch coming this week. I do think there's more, though. I do. Here's AIX Bet. Looks pretty, I don't know, looks okay. I don't know. It's hard to have any thoughts about it. Too new. Not sure where the buyers are, at what level they're buying. Not sure. But you had a win in here somewhere, probably many places, right? With the tax, 99% tax comes all the way down to 1%. There were places to win over there. High Fury, I actually thought would be a little higher than it's at now. I did. So market doing what it did is probably got people a little spooked here and taking some profits, because people were in profit on this one too. Yeah, down to 592K FDV. Again, you could have been in profit on this multiple ways. But man, we're just waiting for a hot launch. An alien dude. What's an alien dude? I don't think I'm an alien. Oh, an alien. Oh, an alien actually, like into UFO stuff. 3i Atlas is interesting, man. I think it's just some rock, but also there's weird stuff going on with not getting images about it and them being kind of quiet about it, but also government shutdown. I don't know what to think of it other than it's interesting. Yeah, I'm more on Marty's side, where it's both. Like I believe in aliens and all this stuff, but I also believe most of what we see is government tech. But 3i Atlas is a big old space rock that's coming from out of our solar system, so that one's different. Marty, yeah, Ashton lost his mind. Did you see Ashton Forbes was on our buddy Nick's stream? Right, we got Nick plays crypto. He's one of our virtuals bros. Ashton came on a stream, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? Random as fuck, but it was so cool. So I told Nick to tell him I want him on the stream too. I'm going to reach out to Ashton, but that was like the crossover I didn't see coming. We have ATM going live tomorrow. I am trying to get them on the show tomorrow. I like this one. I saw Wheels not rating it very high, and I think it's mostly because there's no product for us to look at. Fair, totally fair. But this is the one we covered a little bit. Does those 0 days to expire options. So safer assets to trade with a little baby upside to them, but it's a nice way to yeah, kind of earn yield. They'll have vaults. Again, trading these super safe assets. They've got some very serious backers. Something interesting here. So I think this one will do well depending on the market tomorrow, but it will do well. I think there's going to be plenty of profits in this token here tomorrow. We'll cover it live. We may trade it live. At the time it goes live, we'll be at 1% tax. So we'll have a pretty good idea on where this token is maybe going. And maybe, again, maybe we're trading it ahead of time. Other than that, I don't know. Not super bullish on anything else on the board. There's some okay stuff. Cicada, I think, was okay. Like, there's nothing that's exciting me, right? I'm just not seeing anything fresh, anything that's got me feeling like I gotta get in here. Gotta get in. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. It doesn't mean some of these won't make you money. There's so many ways that these can get crimed. Hexstar is kind of interesting because I'm so not handy. So if I need to do anything mechanical or repairs, home repairs, whatever, I got to go to ChatGPT or YouTube or something. This is an agent. I was tempted to play the video. I mean, there's something kind of interesting there. Little like handyman agent, something that's technical, helps you fix things, build things. Like there's something there. Hey, Scream's back on the board. Again, interesting. Is there a big market for it? Well, something that maybe has appeal outside of, crypto Twitter, maybe. Maybe. Honestly, maybe. I need to put more time and focus on that one. Maybe there's something there. So yeah, out of whatever's on the board, ATM is your biggest launch of the week. Hexar might be the next biggest, maybe. Watching. There's also a few more. Nick's been not Nick. Will's been saying this for a bit. There's a couple launches he's aware of that he thinks are A tier that are not announced yet. A tier is different, right? That's the different level. That's that next level thing. You're like, okay, we're playing that. When those come on the board, when those launch, that's when we really get to feel out this platform. Get to feel out, is there money to be made here? Like, are we going to actually cook here again? We might. Like, I like the mechanics here so far. For the little bit we've gotten to see, I like the mechanics. So, I'm watching. I just want to see who our top tokens are these days too. Rabita had been at 300 mil down to 224. AIXBT at 68. Mamo 64. Aristotle is that's a special one. 56 mil. This one's going to 100 plus. Altcoinist. There's some good stuff here still. Waveform doing really well too. Almost at 9 mil here. Vader 8.6. Pretty looking strong. I like Pretty here. Gotta say, I like Pretty here. Anyway, we'll Oh yeah, I didn't know TD had put some stuff out there. Good. Yeah, I like his breakdowns. He's good at reading the chain. Some updates. Virtuals is now putting out updates here. I just, I'm glad they gave Graham the shout out here. I don't know if I have a firm thought here, man. But like, let's I don't know. Virtuals, whatever. Support your own ecosystem, right? But like, are they still retweeting Graham? I want to see if they're still retweeting him. I just think they're still missing the community support. You can shout him out in the reply, awesome. But are they not retweeting Graham anymore? Well, I want to see real quick when is the last time they retweeted Graham? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so yeah, not retweeting Graham anymore potentially. I just don't love it. I'm sorry. I just don't love it. This is great, support, they're tweeting about the ecosystem, good. I think it goes further if you have the community doing it. I don't know if I don't know. Again, maybe it's a stupid point. Yeah, Axelrod launched what? Axelrod USDC pool on Aerodrome. I'm not going to go through these. I mean, there's fine updates here, but I don't think any of this is needle moving yet. But if this is the new way that they're gonna, well, maybe this is a once a week thing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see them supporting the community more. That's it. That's it. Um, Love this. Dr. Emma Sage, Crypto Sage Senior, behind that project, bringing on a new hire. I love seeing these teams grow, and these guys are growing. Excited for that. I'm still holding my bag of Emma. Still think it's going to do well. They're building. They're building. They're growing. They've got a different market also outside of our echo chamber. You need it. Super important. Saw Good AI. I've seen Evans talking about this one for a minute. It's a crypto streaming platform. I don't know how well I think these things will do. Right? We've got that real. What was the one I was on briefly? Real Take or something like that. It's gonna be so hard to compete with Pump Fun. But anyway, there is a there's a version here that Token launched on virtuals. I think what we learned that was newer, at least for me, I learned is that Evans is on this team or advising that team. He's part of this thing. So they got a platform launching in 10 days. Again, it's a streaming platform with crypto baked in. Pretty cool. Worth watching because he's starting to grow his audience and his voice and all this stuff. Yeah, his project. Yep. We've got the Virtuals Ethereum Hackathon. Submissions closing soon, 100,000 in prizes. We will see, and this might be more where Will is getting some of these A tiers from. It could be somewhere else entirely, but all I know is when this concludes, we're going to see some pretty solid projects launching on virtuals that come from the hackathon. Right? We saw it last time around. We saw it in the spring. No reason to think we won't get that again, right? We'll get some hot launches here, and they'll get support from virtuals, and some of them might be spicy. So watching for this. Watching. All right, on to the NFT market here, guys. Another really decent week, although sales down. So we are looking at the 7-day, 168 mil in sales volume. Sellers were up last week. Buyers were up last week. Love that. Transactions down, average sale price down, but what about profits? Actually falling further in the negative, 3.4 mil in the negative. Just a quick peek at the daily the past couple days here too. Profits not great. 30 mil in sales volume yesterday though. That I like to see. It's a pretty good day. Top collections. Okay, I don't know what this one is. 45.com. This looks like whatever this is a primary sale. Right? This is not you can just tell because the price is the same, or it's wash trading. I'm going to go maybe look on an OpenSea. Let me peek at that real quick. Maybe I should know what that is, but I don't. 45. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Anybody know? Anybody have an idea of what 45.com is? Gravity, good morning, man. Yeah, I have trouble seeing that platform work. All right, let's see if we can see. It could be it could be money laundering, wash trading, whatever. It totally could be. No, here we go. This should be it. Wait is over. Lucky 45 NFT mint. In here, gateway to Lucky layer starts now. Mint your Destiny fragment NFT. Join the ecosystem. Prediction, prizes, protocol ownerships. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. With like not really any mutuals and Not great engagement. So yeah, again, you're looking at a primary sale. People are buying it. Hard to say how much is legit, but that's what it is. Could be something. Could be. At least we know what it is now. But that's happening now. On-chain sales, 4 million sales in 24 hours here. So there you go. Pudgy Penguins, Bored Apes, Pharaoh, Moonbirds, DKT NFT, D-Market, Lil Pudgies, Strike, Perp Position, and GVC. That's your top 10. Let's see your top sales here in the past. Let's go the past week. Let's see what's our biggest sale here. We got a Bored Ape selling for 1.8 mil. Would imagine that's a wash sale. Would imagine that's a wash. Unless I'm missing something about that, but that's probably a little sus, I think. Other than that, no crazy sales. Maybe that Beeple $200,000 sale is the most noteworthy. We got punks on the move too. Yeah, all in all, not bad. We did see an X copy go for 30 ETH yesterday for participant 5. Keep watching those X copies, man. Leading indicator, just like punk sales. Watch those X copies move. And of course, the biggest meta and narrative in NFTs, it is the strategy tokens. And the biggest thing we saw was Vibe Strategy. The second most important strategy token. Oh, really? Larva Labs is something cooking with MeBits next week. Interesting. Is that on like the Larva Labs account, Joina, or MeBits account? Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Punkster, though, looking pretty good. Actually up 134 mil. Vibe Strategy, 9.8 mil. I sold my Vibester yesterday at about 13.5. Bought back in this morning at 9.1. That worked out exactly like I was hoping. Just assume there would be people dumping, right? I just assumed people would be selling, just not sure about the market and news. And I know people are going to take profits. There's guys in here that are up. I saw some of those sells, right? We saw somebody sell $40,000 worth. I'm waiting for more of those. You get those, a couple times a day, maybe? You just get somebody who's going to go realize his profits, move on. So I waited for that to happen. Wasn't sure it would happen, but I was betting it would. So out somewhere here, and luckily it did what I was hoping. So back in this morning. Happy about that. Larva Labs, something about owning a Meebit or Meebster. Interesting. Now, is Meebster running because of it? It actually is a little bit. I mean, up 22%. I still wouldn't mind getting a big old bag of Painster. More, I should say. More. That trade it's luck, but it's also like, I thought a smart bet. What I had trouble seeing was this thing getting pushed to 20 mil while we just are so unsure about things. And I think the longer we wait, the more I just know some guys are going to lock in their profits. Why wouldn't they? Why would somebody watch their $40,000 bag, bleed out? Why would they watch it bleed out to 30,000, 20,000, right? Why would they do that? It come down to like here as opposed to just lock it in, wait and reevaluate. So I bought back in. I bought back a little more token than I initially had. I pocketed 0.1 ETH, and I might buy more. I might buy more because I still really believe in this thing. And I think 15 is the target still short term. And I think beyond that, 20, 30, 40, 50 mil. I mean, I think this token's going to get really silly. But all in all, these are looking great. Hell, I wouldn't mind just rotating to Punkster and just riding it out that way. So many great things. Now, Chimpster is the next biggest thing coming, and we don't know when it's coming, right? They're delaying they're going to slow down the cadence of these launches, along with launch some other products here, right? There'll be the curated offerings. There'll be a launch pad where anybody can launch. And they're also, almost definitely going to fungible token strategies too. So a Pepe strategy and right, like we'll see that stuff as well, which will be really interesting. So this was not just a short few week meta. I think this is a much bigger deal. I would definitely be paying attention. Spencer from Moonbirds, a lot of talk about these strategy tokens. Didn't have the nicest things to say. They weren't shitty, and I don't mean it like that, but was questioning even how Good Vibes did it when I think Good Vibes hit it out of the park. I think they did it perfectly. And a lot of his thoughts that he put out here on his tweet were actually incorrect. Don't have to get in it now. Just know that big people are still talking about this stuff, and it matters a lot. So should be paying attention to these strategy tokens still. We have Oni Force teaming up. What is this? Old Fashioned Research Fund. And creating something called GK Labs. I don't know what this is exactly, but rewriting what fan-owned IP economics look like. Oh, economies look like. Onister. All right, so they're launching an Onister. I don't think this is going to work. Although, yeah, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, right? They've got their token on virtuals now. It is essentially an Oni Force token, even though maybe it's separate. This is where it starts getting in a gray area. Or it's just in that area where I just don't know if it works. They now have 2 tokens in their ecosystem. And honestly, maybe more. I don't know. We got to learn more about their strategy token. Yeah, but at this point, yeah, I'm getting bearish on Oni Force. Like, I like them, but jumping on the AI meta when the AI meta is hot. Now jumping on the strategy meta when it's hot. Like, GG's, man. Like, it's okay. But there's not enough. Look, this isn't another Gobster, but it's closer to that. I don't think there's enough organic buyers, people interested. I don't think there's enough to make this work. Then again, they got connections to Binance and stuff too. So maybe this is a maybe. I want to watch it, but I don't think we're looking at something that's big money, game changing, anything like that. I probably am not participating, but I'm going to pay attention because you never know. But yeah. We potentially, this is pasta, by the way, but oh yeah, I like even the pasta meme. But I do think Monad's coming this week, potentially. I do. I think there's a soft launch coming this week. There's people talking about launching meme coins, blah, blah, blah. It's probably happening. Wrap it up here with some prediction markets. Beanie's saying this Elizabeth Holmes account, it's not actually her. And also that she's getting ready to launch a meme coin. Interesting. I think it's interesting because there is a market for this on Polymarket, and it's like, what, 27% odds right now if you were to bet that she is going to launch a meme coin by the end of the year. Pretty decent odds. I saw Easy shout this out too. There's a market for it. There's a bet to be made. Kind of interesting. This is news from last week, end of last week, but big stuff, guys. Kalshi raised 300 mil at 5 bill. Pretty nice. But the bigger announcement here was that now going global, one liquidity pool. Liquidity is an issue for smaller markets. Depending on how exactly that works, what it means, whatever, maybe less of an issue. Maybe there's still money to be made on smaller bets, smaller markets. I don't know, but that's kind of a big deal. GG's to them. Polymarket looking to launch their native token after it enters U.S. markets. People are thinking it's coming next year, that we're not going to see a Poly token this year. But we got to be watching for it. Got to be watching for it. Yeah, EVA at 400K. It's like, yeah, just another token. I don't know, cats, if they consider EVA. That has to be an Oni token, right? Because they were, yeah. Yeah, I don't get it all. Whatever. Just to show there's so many ways to play these prediction markets. We talk about it a lot now. But with the Nobel Peace Prize, you could insider trade that thing by what? Kind of diving into the website, finding index pages, updated hours before the Nobel Peace Prize winner was announced. You could find pages on the official Nobel Prize site that were updated with a specific name, with a picture, with a, right? There's so many ways to do this and get an edge. And if you go take the time and get the skills to get that edge, there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made, man. Must be playing prediction markets, must. And then I'll end it by saying this. Couple good conversations over the weekend about, again, the opportunities in prediction markets, the platform tokens. Yes, betting on markets that you have an edge in. Yes. But I think one of the biggest upsides, and this was also another easy tweet, is in the infrastructure tokens. And by that, I don't mean the Polymarket token. Those are great, a great token. It'll be a great token. But these markets, I need to check. Hang on. I need to check my Taylor Swift market. Hang on. I don't think anybody bet on it, but I bet on it. And I'm trying to see if I bet correctly on the number 2 song. I forgot to go back and make my final bet. But okay. These markets are open. and they got live odds that are adjusting all the time based on other people's, bets. But they have to resolve, right? And they resolved based on what? Their own oracles that are their data source from, I don't know where. And I would trust their data, but I would trust their data a hell of a lot more if it were on chain. And so a good conversation this weekend is about what that'll look like, how that'll work, and why it should be on chain, right? Because then the data is transparent, it's accurate, it's time stamped, right? So because the timing matters, it's accurate to the block. So I've been saying I think we need to be looking for platforms that will tie into. Hang on, I'm trying to get my wallet connected. Platforms that are going to tie into prediction markets that will fuel their data, that will help them resolve these markets more accurately and, again, more transparently. Because you have issues right now where Polymarket might resolve a market incorrectly, but based on not. I'm trying to think how these have resolved before, but this has been an issue on Polymarket. Something was resolved because there's, I don't know if it's investors. I'm going to have this wrong, but just hear me out with like the general point. There's other people who on Polymarket who have influence over the way a market resolves, especially if something's like kind of gray. There's a decision that's made for what way it settles. And sometimes it's been the wrong decision. And I've seen people out there saying they're going to get sued over this at some point. I feel like even Easy had said that at one point about Polymarket. Like this is not going to work out. This is not going to work out well for those guys if they're picking and choosing winners sometimes. So again, the data infrastructure companies that'll power prediction markets, I think, are the bet. And I tie that to SlamAI because that's exactly what I see. Just one of the things I believe SlamAI will do. Prediction markets for on-chain data where the data matters, and again, is transparent. You can verify it yourselves. I think things like these are going to be a different kind of play. Like a different, Mike, it might be like that. There might be like a panel or judges, but there is a vote. And I do think investors are part of that. And that just means that sometimes they may vote for their own bags, which is not good. Data needs to be on chain. It does need to be. All right, let me see how the Taylor Swift one went, because that should have resolved here. Okay, this ended, still pending resolution. Okay, so the bet was, I'm going to pull up Spotify. I'm just curious. What was the second most streamed song of the week? So you guys can't see, but I'm pulling up Spotify. Taylor Swift. I can't remember if I bet on the right one. Shit, hang on. Or if I meant to go back and bid on the right one and I didn't actually do it. Let's see. The second most streamed song is Opalite. It looks like on Spotify it's Opalite. Did I bet Opalite? I did. Okay, I put $10 on Opalite. I think there was only $15 bet total. They were both my bets. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll win what? I don't know, $5, something like that. But I'll be down. Because I think I'll be down. I need to see how this plays out. I can't math it. But hey, I won. I beat myself. So there we go. We'll think of some more bets this week, but it's really like when live odds come. When live odds come, that's a whole different game over on PredictBase. So I can't wait. All right, guys, there is your update. Like I said, changes coming this week. Big changes coming. Big changes, and I think a big announcement. Oh, dude, I think I'm a week off. I think announcements next week. My bad. I'm looking at the calendar. I think in my head it was this week. I think it's the 21st. So what? There's the alpha. Announcements coming. Yeah, announcements coming. I think it's next Tuesday. Sorry. All the time, bro. All the time. So anyway, subscribe to CryptoSlam. Keep up with this stuff. Follow SlamAI. This is really important. Follow SlamAI _XYZ. Follow Swarm _AI. And hey, I told you guys I had a cheerleading little event this weekend. If you want to see, I just because I know some people wanted to see, I put it up on X. You can go to my profile. You can check it out there. We did the damn thing yesterday. It was so much fun. I need to get out more and socialize more because I never do. And I always say it's because like I don't want to hang out with people and shit, but I always love it when I do it. Had a blast doing the cheerleading thing. It was so fucking fun. So go peek at the thing. My daughter comes out at the end. Dude, those girls were amazing. That girl blew me away, dude. She blew me away. Dude, they're so good. Like she's athletic and she's just really fucking great at it. So that was the best part of it. But I gotta admit, I had fun with the other dads. So go peek at that. And there we have it, boys. Have a great day. Hang on, let's go full screen. I like doing the full screen more now, just for whatever reason. But have a great day. Today's newsletter day, so I'll be off in writing land. But back live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and all the usual places. Hope to lock in baseball tomorrow. I wouldn't count on it, but I hope to get them on the show, and then we'll start watching, ramping these guests up here as well from outside of virtuals as well. So a lot of fun stuff coming. Guys, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.